Alright. Hey guys, Clean College Gentleman here with another hat deck file. This time we're doing the World Spellbook Prophecy.
We are doing Spellbooks. Alright. So Spellbooks is a deck that obviously was very powerful prior to hat format because of like Judgment and Fate. In hat format, Fate is at 1 and Judgment is banned, but the deck is honestly still very powerful. It's just a more like slow like control deck, like basically just recycling your Fate and using it like pretty much every turn or every other turn. So for the monster lineup, we play 3 Spellbook Magician Prophecy. He's obviously just the best normal summon of your deck, and the fact that he has Spellbook in his name is amazing. And then we play 3 Justice Prophecy. She's still really good. She helps get you access to the High Priestess spoiler, and then also just like any Spellbook card in your deck. And so she's very cool for that, and that has decent stats. 1600 is not bad. And then we have the 3, I play 3 Priestess. I like having 3 just so I always like have one in the deck for Justice to resolve, because she does have to add a 5 or higher spellcaster to do the banish effect. And also this just helps with like OTKs, making rank 7s, popping cards on the field. Like she's just your boss monster for various reasons. Very cool, powerful card. For my variant, I do play the Temperance, which is kind of cool. He's a normal summon similar to Justice, but you can use the effect on command, basically on the normal summon. To summon any 5 or higher spellcaster from your deck, but then you can't summon any more 5 or higher. And you can summon the World. The World is a kind of funky card. It's very powerful in what it does. You can add back 2 spellbook cards and then reveal 4 different ones to pop everything on the field except itself. Just getting the 2 back is nice. The 2900 attack is a very good. The only downside is drawing this card is horrible. And there's not very many ways to get it out of your hand. There's a couple I'll show you later, but most of the part, if you draw this card, you're looking to get this back into the deck or get it into the graveyard so you can summon it back with Spellbook of Life. So that is the Spellbook lineup. These are not always the most commonly played, but I do enjoy them. They do add another flavor to the deck and just give you more like play options, but they also do kind of sometimes contribute to the bricking as well. For the hand traps, we play 3 Veiler, which is actually very good for multiple reasons, because it's Veiler, but also it's a tuner, so it lets me access the synchro plays, and also that it's a spellcaster. So for whatever reason, I didn't like see a another spellcaster monster. It is a spellcaster for the field spell that if it's in the graveyard, then I can still get the draws with this. So that's very cool.
That's really nice, actually.
And then 3 Maxi. In hat format, there's a mixture of like combo decks, middle of the road, and like back row decks. So Maxi is like a card that's like, it's good, but not always good. I'm always a firm believer of like playing 3 of a card if I'm playing it at all. I don't like playing 2 ofs. Maybe Goat format's an example where like that's okay because the format's so much slower. But in this one, like if I'm playing against like a combo deck, I want to have Maxi in my opening hand. And if I'm playing against like a control deck that's like maybe like that only summons like maybe once or twice a turn, whatever, I'll take the 1-for-1 trades with it. At least it's not dead, you know? Okay, right. And you can always side it out. For the Spellbook lineup, I play 3 Crescent. Crescent is good, but it has its downfalls. It locks you into Spellbook spell cards for the whole turn, so you can't activate other spell cards. So like no Book of Moon, no Upstart, no Duality. Those are cards you definitely can play with this, but you can't do them the same turn. This card also requires you to have no Spellbook spell cards in your graveyard to activate, so it's really only good like once or twice, unless you control your graveyard very well. But I do like it that it's just another name that's easy, that has the consistency, and is easy to get in the graveyard as another copy for Fate to banish. So that's the main thing I like for that. And then I do play, there's the main searcher. We have the 3 secrets. This is basically just the Rhoda for the deck. And searches you basically this guy, which then searches you any spellbook cards. So they are best friends. This card's very strong, very powerful, very good. All these cards are hard once per turns, but Master does let you get around that. Master basically lets you reveal one in hand and then target one to copy. Very sweet. And then the 2 Eternities, grab back a banished one. Very good for grind game, especially with Fate. And then the 2 Towers. Towers is basically just says you get to draw a card in your standby by recycling a spellbook card, which will usually be Fate. For back row matchup, this is really good. We like Wisdom. It's quick play, basically makes it unaffected by either a spellcaster by either spells or traps. So really good against like cards like Bottomless, Torrential, Mirror Force,
really
Prison.
Infernity too, and Geargia.
Yeah, Geargia, Infernity, stuff like the Breaks. Like this is such a good card, and it protects them for until the end of the turn. For the 1-ofs, we play the 1-of Power. You could play 2 of this. This card is really sweet because it just gives 1,000 to once. If you need like more numbers, you can 1,000, then Master give it another 1,000. If you destroy a monster by battle, you get to search 1 spellbook, and if you did it twice with Master, you get to search 2. So that's a very cool card. Definitely could play 2. We play the 1-of Life, which is basically the Monster Reborn that also level modulates. So if you bring back a card like Valor, it can level modulate to start doing some synchro plays, which is very cool. Very fringe, but it gives you options. The deck doesn't use the extra deck too much, so it's nice to have the option. It also works for World. World is when it's summoned by a spellcaster or by a spellbook card. So if you summon back the World, you can trigger the World's effect. So that's really cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then the last spellbook card we play is, of course, the One of Fate, which is just very powerful. Non-targeting banishing is very strong. So strong. And it has other useful effects. The first one, the Bonsa's Power Trap, not so good, but if you banish 2, you can basically quick effect Book of Moon, which is still really good, because then you can out problem cards like we were talking about the other like things like there's a Key Beetle, for example. So having a searchable Book of Moon is always nice. You can always, at worst, you can put back your Blue Boy, because when he's normal or flip face up, you can get another search out of that. So very cool card. And then the last card I play in my deck is this the only trap card I play, Breakthrough Skill. Breakthrough Skill is a card I really like in this format. It's basically just like a Fiendish Chain, but has another usage in the graveyard. As a quick effect, the turn, it's not to turn it into the graveyard, but the next turn you can banish it on your turn as a quick effect to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and negate skills. So it's really good against artifacts. So you can basically like use it to like stop something, and then on your turn when your opponent's trying to use like Sanctum or something, you can banish it and hit the artifact monster. It's also really good against like Floodgate monsters that are just like chilling on your opponent's side of the field, and you already have this in your graveyard. You can banish it and then hit that card. So
yeah. I don't get why people only will play 2 of it. I think it's just too good not to play.
Yeah, I think this card is very powerful for this specific format, and I think you should definitely be playing it if you can.
Definitely play 3 of it, yeah.
Okay, moving on to the extra deck. Ooh. So the extra deck is not very needed, but sometimes you get some plays. So for rank 2 options, because the Blue Boy is your most common normal summon that's going to stay on the field and not really do anything else, we have Gachi. He just helps, he's just like a protect, also gives your guy some stat boost. This is the one that helps with the, helps with the Pure Light, helps with the getting the World out of your hand, because you can basically detach and then add any monster from your graveyard hand. So usually I'll add back a Blue Boy and then shuffle back the World to get it back into the deck. So then you can later summon it with Temperance. So he's really cool for that. Other rank 2 options, I play Phoenix just for pushing for game, because you can attack twice. Rank 3 options, if it ever comes up, I play the Zenmaines. Zenmaines is just very powerful for basically the same as Gachi, but also can destroy cards too. And then for XYZs, for this, I don't play any. Yeah, I don't think I have any level 4s. Yeah, so I don't play any rank 4s. For 7s, we have this guy, basically pop spell and trap cards up to the amount of spellbook cards in your graveyard, so it comes up against back row matchups. And then we have the Dracosac, which, Dracosac is Dracosac, and then Big Eye, which is also just another good card. Yeah. So that is the XYZs. For Synchros, now with the which pretty much only happened with the Valor, we have Catastor, which is just a good card. Tempest Magician is a good level 6 option, and it works because it needs non-tuner spellcasters. It's a good way to like burn your opponent for the rest of the game, because you can like banish, you gain spell counters by discarding spell cards, and then you can remove them to basically just burn 500. Actually discard any cards. Ooh. But yeah, either way, she's just something you can help try to burn to finish your opponent, because this deck doesn't really OTK very well. For 7, we have Arcanite Magician, another one that requires a non-tuner spellcaster. He can gain 2 counters and then pop 2 cards. For 8s, we have Crimson Blader, which is really good against decks that play like level 5 or higher monsters and want to summon those.
Any sort of like ruler deck.
Like ruler decks, basically. Stardust, which is always just a good card. And then Leo is just, like, at the time, he's the best generic Synchro 10 that can stop targeting.
Too bad I don't have Baron.
Yeah, too bad we don't have Baron. Okay, I do have a side deck built for this deck, because I do like Spellbooks a lot, and so I was like thinking, I was like, man, well, I tried it out in Dragon Ruler, but Dragon Ruler, it's like a cool format, but
it's kind of a little boring if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's really only like 2 decks that are viable, and it really just comes down to like, all right, who drew more cards?
And kind of Evil Swirl.
Yeah, and then you just end on some either like Floodgate, either it's going to be like Jowgen or it's going to be like Emptiness. But anyway, so this format's a lot more controlled. A lot of like the busted cards are either banned, or, yeah, usually just banned, and like all the like really good cards are usually at 1, but most of them are just banned, which is really nice. It's not like Ghost where like you have like 20 limited cards that are all busted in their own right. They don't exist in this format. Okay, yeah. So we have 3 MST for back row matchups, naturally. I don't like the main it because I already have Fate, and Priestess can help out basically pretty much everything. Also, it doesn't work very well with the Crescents, because again, it is a spell card, it's not a spell book, so that's only the downside, but I mean, you can use it on your opponent's turn and things like that. or if you just don't draw the crescent. A good control spellcaster is Kaiku. Really good against decks that want to banish, which is a lot of decks. You can basically any rulers, of course, like rulers,
Chaos Lightsworn,
Infernities a little bit. Like, it's very strong. And then we also have DD Crow as another hand trap. There's really only like a few hand traps at this time in the game where you can play. It's Valor, DD Crow, and Maxi, and the last one is Droll. Droll is very
it's very niche. Like
very niche, very deck dependent. And in this game state, card advantage is very important, and you want good 1-for-1 trades or even better. And Droll is a neg-1 inherently, and so unless it's against like some deck that searches a ton and it's a combo deck.
Infernity is definitely one of the decks that
you could. But again, if they like drew like a subpar hand and you drolled them and they were going to pass anyways, you just gain nothing out of that. So I would rather have more high impact 1-for-1 trades. And then Emptiness. I don't main it because I don't really feel like I need it, but going first, it's like a nice card, especially against like a combo deck. You can flip this and just basically win off that, or at least skip their turn. And then another like good floodgate is Summon Limit, which this one is like Spellbooks can play very easily with this card. It's not the very best going second, but again, it is a slower format. But against some decks that need to special multiple times to play, again, like combo decks, this deck will keep them in check. The idea is that the main deck is already kind of built to beat other basically grindy decks. And then we just have more like side deck options for combo decks and such.
Yeah. Is there anything else want to add?
Not really much. I mean, me and Chase, we've been experimenting with Hat and kind of learning more about what the things do. The format is very diverse. There's a lot of decks you can play. It's like one of the first formats where there's like so many archetypes that you can play. So you'll definitely see some more profiles from us. And then these are just some of the ones that we're like, hey, this seems kind of cool. Let's build it. And so. I don't know. I enjoy it. Thanks for checking out the video and for checking out the profile.